Welcome to Scanning TV on YouTube once again. Let's see some latest updates coming in from the camp of Black Stars team, Black Stars players, and some few quick updates we need to know in this one. Today, the Ghana Football Association spokesperson, Mr. Henry Asante has spoken, and in fact, he's spoken for a very long time. But I will actually give you guys the most interesting part and where we will get almost all our questions answered in this particular update for you guys to enjoy. He spoke on Coach Otto. The final decision on him is yet to be made, but he made some things clear. And in fact, if you are listening to him, you get to know that the decision is actually going on a certain path. Well, you check it out in this update. We also look at what he has to say on the captaincy issue. See, Ghana, we have problem with the captaincy issue. Whether it's going to be Jordan, it's going to be Kudus, it's going to be Jiku, or even Partey, if Partey returns, who is going to be the captain? Well, he's spoken on that as well, and we'll check it out in this update. So, aside that, we also look at the lives of Mohamed Kudus. Kudus, today there's some piece of good news. I will talk about him in this update. Then also take a quick one on Semenyo, Kumasi Sports Stadium, and some few quick updates surrounding the Black Stars players, Partey, and the rest. So if you have joined me, take your time, like the video first. After that, if you are new, subscribe to this channel, put us on post notification so that I drop the latest update, you'll be the first person to get and also enjoy. Leave your thoughts and comment in the comment box, and after watching the video, share the link so that others will also come here and enjoy the latest on this channel. So you know how I do it. Quickly, let me run you through the quick updates, then we listening to what Mr. Henry Asante has to say. An interesting one, of course. Let me begin from the WAFU U-17 Girls Cup. Yes, this is going to be the maiden edition of the WAFU U-17 Girls. It is going to happen in Ghana. It is starting from 12th of December to 26th of December. 12 to 26. Ghana is going to host this particular WAFU U-17 Girls Cup. And the draw has been done. So Ghana is in Group A with Burkina Faso and Benin. That is it. Group B consists of Nigeria, Niger, then Cote d'Ivoire. So that is also going to be that. I'll bring you guys all the fixtures, the time, and everything. And this tournament is going to happen in Pram Pram. Have some pitches in Pram Pram. That is where they are going to host this. So that is it also for the Ghana hosting the WAFU B U-17 Girls Cup. Aside that, let me also wish this birthday, or let me give these birthday wishes quickly. Ibrahim Osman, today is his birthday, so happy birthday going out to you. Enjoy your day to the fullest. So that is it. We have Artizgi. Today is his birthday as well. So Lawrence Artizgi, enjoy your day to the fullest. Then former Black Stars player Addo, today is your birthday. So Dominic Addo, enjoy your birthday to the fullest. Let me talk a little bit about Kudus. Kudus has been nominated for the FIFA Puskas Awards. Yes, Puskas Award talks about the best or the most beautiful goal within the calendar year. So if you're looking at the next FIFA Best or FIFA Awards, Kudus is on the list for the best goal of the year. It tells you that Kudus, he scored a lot of bangers last season, and that goal he scored against Freiburg. Freiburg, in that game, he scored 2 goals against them when West Ham played against Freiburg. One of his goals was a solo goal. He picked the ball before the center, dribbled almost every player, then scored. You rate his weaker foot, that the right foot. So Kudus, that goal was just amazing, and he has been nominated to compete for the Puskas Award. So he's going to be in contention with a lot of the players. You can see them here. Notable one, or those who are going to give him competition, will be Alejandro Garnacho, who scored a fantastic goal against Man United, and I can also recall the goal that was scored by DiMarco, who plays for Inter. So that is that. You can just click on the link. I'll pin it down there in the comment box. You can click on it and go and vote for Kudus. Let's try and see if Kudus can win this Puskas Awards for Ghana. For me, I think that goal was just so amazing, where he took the ball from, dribbled every player to make sure that he will go and score for his side in that game against SC Freiburg. Is a good one for Mohamed Kudus. Let me talk about Thomas Partey. Yes, his future at Arsenal is now undecided yet, you know, whether he's going to stay or he's going to leave. His coach, Mikel Arteta, has spoken. According to him, they will talk about Partey because he likes Partey. Partey is playing so well, and he is a fantastic player. And he has this to say about Partey. Partey has also spoken. We will check it out after this one. When Partey played against Sporting CP in the last game, these were the words from Mikel Arteta on Thomas Partey. I think it is one of the best performances I've seen from him, referring to Partey, especially the way he's dominated the game. So that's the level he can play. He's progressing. He's a massive player for us. That is what Mikel Arteta said. Now, on Partey's future, this is the latest today, according to Fabrizio Romano. We will have time to discuss about the situation. He's showing consistency at the highest level. Again, because his availability and the way that he feels physically is allowing him to do that. I'm very happy with Thomas. According to him, they are very happy with Thomas, and that is that. A little bit on Antoine Semenyo, the striker or a forward for AFC Bournemouth as well as Ghana Black Stars. The next game that AFC Bournemouth will play, the player will not be able to play a part. Next game for them is against Watford in an away fixture, but because of accumulated yellow cards, the player is going to miss that one and serve that particular ban from there. Now, Newcastle United, they've also jumped into the race to sign the player. We know that Arsenal want to sign him. Liverpool, they've also tabled his name down as a possible replacement for, that is talking of Mohamed Salah if he leaves, either Semenyo or Kudus. Those are the two players that Liverpool is looking at. And now we understand that Newcastle, they've also penned his name down. They want to sign him. Even Newcastle wants to sign him on January, but January is going to be very difficult. According to sources from AFC Bournemouth, only if Bournemouth will sign new players, that is when they will allow Semenyo to leave. Else, Semenyo is going to stay from January to the end of season. So if Semenyo will leave AFC Bournemouth, we should expect it possibly to happen at the end of the full season. So the next summer transfer, that is when Semenyo is expected to leave. But Newcastle, Arsenal, Liverpool, they are all interested in signing a player from AFC Bournemouth, and that is that. NS Nuama Apia is also on the radar of Galatasaray. Yes, they are also interested in signing him. Galatasaray in Turkey, they are interested in signing Ernest Nuama Apia. This news has surfaced about a week ago, but it is now gaining grounds, and I have to also update you guys on it. Yesterday, or is the last 2 days or yesterday, he provided assist for Olympic Lyon in that particular game they played in there. So he's also playing well, and let's see if he will move or he will decide to stay and play for them. Let's come to the GFA and a lot of issues. But before then, this is the current look of the Barbara Sports Stadium. Yes, the stadium has been completed. Per the works they were supposed to do over there, they are done with it. So who knows, maybe the next Black Stars match they might decide to take it to Kumasi. But currently they are having the inter-school competition in Asante region. The SHS, they are having their games over there, and at a point I saw the students, they were actually encroaching the field. The students who were supporting the teams playing, I saw them coming to the pitch, and I don't know why. It is Fast Track versus OWAS. Yes, they played and the game ended goalless, so they went to penalties, and OWAS defeated Fast Track by some 6-5 on penalties. So this is how Barbara Sports Stadium looks like. I don't know whether it's the camera quality that we are not getting it clearly per the person who took it. Bacon Richard, he actually took these videos. Or maybe, but this is how Barbara Sports Stadium looks like. I don't know how good or bad it is. I will still follow and bring you guys more updates from Barbara Sports Stadium. Now, let's listen to GFA spokesperson, Mr. Henry Asante Chum. Today, he joined Joy Sports. Yes, so he was on Joy Sports. They have Game Plan, a sports show that they do. Then after that, they brought him on Twitter. Yes, or now called X, to come and answer a lot of questions. I also asked him my question, but let's listen to a lot of questions that were thrown to him and the answers he gave. According to him, Otto, for now, the decision to maintain him or to sack him is yet to be reached. They are yet to reach the final decision because they need to do wider consultations, as I said in the last video I brought it to you on this channel. Aside that, he also spoke about Blasters captaincy. According to him, for now, Addo has made it clear Jordan is the main captain. Aside him, we have Jiku before Kudus will come. He didn't talk about Partey, whether Partey is going to be in the captaincy or not. He said a lot in that particular conversation. Let me allow you guys to enjoy in this video. Don't forget, if you have not liked the video yet, please like it. If you have not subscribed and you are new, subscribe to this channel. Put us on post notification to get more updates on this channel. Let's listen to what Henry Asante Chum had to say with Fentio, Tahiru Fentio, together with myself and the other journalists and sports-loving fans who were on that particular space.
We can believe in them to come out of this crisis, because this is a crisis that even this administration has never been confronted before. Have you seen anything? What are you doing in the last 2 weeks? From when crisis setting, should we believe in and have confidence that, you know what, I think that these guys will get us out of this?
Well, the first thing, and the most important thing, first of all, is to have calm nerves. And when your nerves are calm, you'll be able to take important decisions. So, I think yes, like you indicated, there have been 2 ESCO meetings. The first one was to look into the journey, the entire journey of the qualifiers, the 6 games we played. Then in that meeting, there was a decision to disband the management committee, which was chaired by the vice president of the FA, Addo.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, the council decided to listen to the coach. So Otto was invited to present his report. He made his report available.
Mm-hmm.
Copies have been made to the various members of the committee, the council. Sorry. Let me mention that as we speak, we've got 11 members of the council because of Kwesi Appiah's issue, and so there was a need for the council to meet him in person, which happened on Wednesday. The meeting, which lasted about a little over 4 hours, presented his report, 56 document or so.
56 page document
or so, went through, justified, first of all, the collapse for each of the games, his approach to the games, his tactics for the games, how the opponent also reacted in the course of the game, from the first match against Angola to the second game against Niger, then the Sudan game in Accra, Sudan in Benoni in Libya, and then the last 2 games in Luanda and Accra. So there was a presentation on each of the 6 games that we played, after which the members of the council were given the opportunity to ask questions. I think the least question that came from a member was 3. It was very open. This meeting was also attended by the Regional Football Association chairman. So they were also allowed to make an input, and he was discharged. And then among the council members, they discussed. It went on and on and on and on. There was a stalemate, and so the decision was that the ministry will now have to come in, and it's basically because we have suffered in the past. For instance, Siki Akono was fired. It became an issue in terms of his remuneration and compensation. Mm-hmm. When Milo was fired, it also became an issue because Milo didn't have time to waste. He went to FIFA. FIFA judged in favor of Milo, and then we needed to pay over $100,000 upon several pleas to the ministry. Mm-hmm. They were not forthcoming, so the FA needed to pay that money. 117 or 100 and
of Milo's severance package.
Yes.
The FA.
Yes.
Because the ministry refused to pay, or said they didn't have money.
They were not forthcoming. Sometimes when you are knocking on the doors of the ministry, it depends on availability of funds. And once Milo went to court, we were also given a certain deadline to meet. And we had to meet that deadline, or else we suffer consequences. And so there was a need for.
So when it becomes critical, the FA finds the money. You know where the money is.
It depends on what you are talking about and what. I
know. I said I'm talking about criticality.
So these issues, you cannot compare a 1-year contract or a 9-month contract to a 38-month contract or a 36-month contract. So the council deferred the meeting and said they will have to consult the government, after which a firm decision will be made. And
hold on, Henry.
That's what we are waiting for.
Okay, so it means, I'll just let you come in. It means, from what I picked up from what you just said, the only reason the ministry needs to step in is if a conversation about his severance package comes in. That's
not necessarily.
Hold on.
At the end of the day, when it comes to appointment or hiring of especially the Team A coaches,
yes,
the FA always does it with the ministry.
Yes,
in terms of remuneration, compensation, bonuses, and all of that.
That's what I just said.
It's always done with the ministry.
So my question,
so once the ESCO has taken a decision, you have to go back to the ministry, present your decision and defend your decision, and then
that's what I'm saying. So I'm saying that. So from what so are you saying that the ESCO has decided that they no longer want to work with Otto, but they cannot make that decision until the ministry signs off on it. Is that what it is?
There was no such decision. The council did not.
So what are they referring to the ministry for? To discuss compensation?
A number of issues.
Because if it is about performance, that's the ESCO's job. So if the conclusion is that he's good enough to stay, then there's no need to consult.
There is every need to consult the ministry, because finally, when you even take a decision to fire the coach, and there is an issue about paying him off, is the ministry's responsibility, is the government.
I get it.
Yes,
I get that. But I'm saying that you involve the government about all these issues of firing Otto if you are considering it. If you're not considering it, you don't need to go to the ministry, do you?
It depends on where you sit. The ministry pays the coaches.
Yes.
And
so let's say at the ESCO meeting. Let's say at the ESCO meeting.
What I know is that
at the moment, the FA is still paying Otto because he's still Ghana's coach.
Yes.
Great. So as long as he's the coach, the agreement is that the ministry will pay
the salary.
Absolutely.
The salary.
Absolutely.
So as we speak, today's 29 by now, have them wire.
No, I'm not sure.
No, today's 29. Government. If it's divided the heads or opinions of the ESCO, the ministry will now have the final say on whether Otto stays or goes.
Obviously, it will come back to the council. Let me just say that during Milo's time, for instance, in a similar situation, but maybe it was not as published as this Otto seats issue is. During Milo's time, after the AFCON, the council met. They again met the coach, and then we had to go back to the ministry, and there was a joint meeting between the ESCO and the ministry, and I was part of that meeting. Very, very heated, atmosphere, and eventually the two bodies decided to let him walk or show him the door, and then he was his contract was actually cancelled.
Is the difference not that the FA then presented a decision to the ministry? This time, the FA is not presenting any decision to the ministry.
No,
what is the ministry going to do?
The FA did not present a position to the ministry. Yes, I know very well that it was quite similar. Opinions were divided. There were those who believed that the AFCON didn't go well, yes, but he had the experience to turn things around. There were others who said the AFCON ended in February. We had 3 weeks or so to prepare for the playoffs against Nigeria. We don't have time. Let's act quickly, and eventually we found a way. So
my final question on this: how many members in decisions like this can vote?
All of them.
How many members are in the ESCO?
12.
At the moment, 11.
Plus President 12. Right?
So no.
Yeah, he's the chairman of the ESCO. He's a member of the ESCO.
Yes. So at the moment, how do we have a stalemate? Did somebody abstain? Did people abstain?
No, I don't even think the matter went into a vote.
No, it didn't get to that point.
It did not.
Vote.
But Henry, let me ask you a question. Henry, just a quick one. Did some the course of the meeting?
No.
Okay.
All right, so listen, Sicho, there's anybody at the EXCO, including the president, did anybody even hint when this thing happened that, you know what, maybe our own future should be considered? Is anyone considering resigning at the FA?
I don't know if I can enter into the minds of the membership, but...
so no one has whispered you to you?
No, I hardly go into that area. Because this is a board. Yes, sometimes you have 1 or 2 conversations with them, sometimes phone calls and a few other things. But to be very fair, I think that in the course of the meeting, especially on Wednesday, there were some members who said in the meeting that, Charlie, it's about our future, so we have to be serious. The people there are waiting for us. They are looking for us. The people there are talking. The one day, if care is not taken, we will get here and the FA is not, the building is not in place. So they are very, very much, they are 100% aware of what their responsibilities are and how humongous this failure is. So it's not as if they've taken it for granted. It's life goes on, business as usual. Let's come and sit down, drink wine, eat and go. No, all of them are concerned, but I cannot speak for them individually because I don't know what is running through their minds at this moment. I am only talking about things that I heard in the course of the meeting and some discussions that I have had with a few of them.
Yeah, Henry, you've been, thankfully, you've done this job a long time. Not just in the sport industry for a very long time. You've seen things, you've heard things, you've witnessed things. Are you surprised that after this failure, there's no one stepped down at the FA?
Am I surprised?
Yes.
I don't think I can answer.
Why not? That's a personal question.
Unfortunately, my opinions in these cases don't matter. That's why I said I don't think I can answer. Maybe if I was sitting somewhere else, I would be in a better position to speak the way you are.
Yeah.
And then look into issues like you do, or like Sicho or Daniel or maybe Mufti. But where I sit, I speak for the council, and I communicate their decisions.
So speak for them. Are you surprised they haven't quit? No one has quit.
I speak for them when they make.
They've made a decision not to resign. Have you?
I cannot say that for a fact. I don't know what will happen. 1 minute from now is the future, so I don't know what will happen. Maybe something could happen. So whatever I say here will be irrelevant then.
Yeah, but timing is also everything.
Yes.
So it will still be relevant.
Maybe
it's been 2 weeks. No one has.
Maybe their wives are still talking to them.
They're still consulting.
Yes.
Henry.
Wednesday, I think that first of all, let me say that this is something they have been thinking about for the past 5 months. The vice president was the one responsible to ensure this happens. So there have been a few meetings. I have personally sat in 2 of those meetings to plan the execution of this particular retreat. There were thoughts about doing it outside Accra or doing it in Accra. Eventually, they decided to do it at Pram Pram. It is something they felt would help a lot in shaping the decision making and also the way to handle our national teams on the back of our recent challenges and difficulties. So they fixed it. Per the initial communication, the retreat would have happened yesterday, 28th, right? But after further engagement with the government and other stakeholders, the council decided to postpone the event until the stakeholders are forthcoming with some of the views they sought to get from them. I think with specific reference to these kinds of retreats, sometimes you need all the hierarchy, the major stakeholders, media, government, ministry, sports authority, traditional rulers, ex-players, ex-captains, the Professional Footballers Association of Ghana would have come through as well, sports marketers, media agencies, all of them. So I think it's broad, and after touching base with some of these key stakeholders, there was a need for us to postpone the event, which is why we decided to hold on.
Or if they even had admission that there was discord in the dressing room.
The last time I heard this word was in January. I received an email from a British journalist who used the word discord, and it was related to our campaign in Cote d'Ivoire during the AFCON. Anyway, let me say that as the leader of the group, as the head coach of the team, he took responsibility for every single thing that occurred from September to the month of November when we wrapped up the qualifiers. He took every single responsibility for all the decisions he took, decisions that backfired, decisions that went well, the results, the performance of the team, and so forth and so on. I think that yes, he is the coach. He calls the shot. He says yes. Sometimes he listens to other views, but in the end, he takes the final decision. He will listen.
In the end, he listens to Klopp and
he takes the final decision. I wouldn't mind you. And so yes,
on the specific issue of the captaincy, how much
there was justification. there was justification for every single decision he took.
Was that an admission of error?
I don't know. No, there was no mention of that in the meeting. He gave reasons for that decision. He thought the reasons were tangible enough. He felt that at the time when it was obvious that Thomas couldn't make it, he thought he needed to give the armband to Mohammed Kudus. And yes, initially when he communicated it, there are people who had different views. They spoke to him about it, but he's the coach, and he went ahead with his firm decision, and so he is responsible for whatever transpired post that decision. And he's also human; he can make mistakes, and so he sat down and looked into it again and decided to have a meeting with Kudus, Jiku, and Jordan to announce the hierarchy of the team going forward, which he made public at the press conference when he announced the squad for Nigeria and Angola. So yes, as a coach, he takes the blame, he takes responsibility. He is very much aware of the backlash that followed that decision, but once he is the boss, when results go well, he takes the credit. When results don't go well, he takes the responsibility, and he takes the criticism that come with those results.
There was also a lack of clarity over that last decision on the captaincy when he gave it to Jordan. Was Jordan captain for just those 2 matches, like Kudus was for the other 2, or this is a permanent decision and Jordan is assistant captain to Thomas? If Thomas is not there, he's captain, because we've seen situations where the assistant captains were bypassed for certain matches, i.e. the Sudan game. Assistant captain available after Thomas's absence was Chiku. He was bypassed and was given to Kudus. Now, that assistant was still present, and the captaincy bypassed him and went to Jordan. What is the
clarity? I thought he explained in that press conference that there is a new hierarchy in terms of the leadership of the team, and he named Jordan as the captain and Jiku as first vice and Kudus as second vice.
What does that make Thomas?
At the moment, once there is no communication in that regard, I can't speak to it. But what he said is what I have just re-echoed.
Which means Thomas is not the captain of the Black Stars anymore.
At the moment, what I know is that the captain is Jordan. That's what he told me.
So
That's
at the moment, the sense we get is that Thomas is no more the captain of the Black Stars.
If that is what you want to say,
no, that is what you are saying. That is what you are saying means.
If that is what you want to say,
that is what you're actually saying.
I cannot fault you on that.
Right. So at the moment, Nudi Manaf is not Ghana's captain, because Jordan is Ghana's captain, which also means at the moment, Ali say he's not Ghana's captain because Jordan is Ghana's captain. But Thomas is not Ghana's captain because Jordan is Ghana's captain.
I am only re-echoing what he said at the press conference regarding the hierarchy of the team. He said Jordan is the captain, Jiku is first vice, and then Mohammed Kudus is second vice. So once he said that, I cannot say anything contrary to what the coach put out.
Because this is a space, I'm just going to give 10 minutes.
There was no discussion on that. I am not in the position to confirm or deny the names that you are talking about. But I don't even know which names are flying around as you mentioned. In the meeting that decided to disband the old or the previous management committee, they were very clear in their decision. They said the previous management committee that was in place had the vice president, Mark Addo, Mr. Kwesi Ajiman, who is the Tourism Authority Director General, and then Mr. Koto Banfo Sikins, the owner of Alisa Hotel, as the members. That committee was disbanded, and they were taking steps to put a new one in place. But no names have been discussed at the executive council level, and then no timeline too was discussed.
Let me take questions from 2 people together, and then Henry can answer them at once. King Mana, please ask your question. Okay, he's gone. Manao is gone. Pray, Safo, ask your question, please.
Okay, good morning. So this is a question I had for Henry. I've always had for Henry. First question, it's a very simple question. Henry, prior to you having this role of a communication person for GFA, you were a journalist just like Fent was, just like Daniel was, just like Sicho was. You were one of the most critical people to the tenure that passed. And this is not to hold brief for that tenure because we all know they had their problems. But that tenure was 10,000 times better than how this tenure is performing. Yet still, you called for heads to roll in that time. Today, you occupy the position of a communication and you are saying that is not up to you to decide. But then, so that is a hypocrisy within you yourself to have an answer to. But secondly, after the sacking of Chris
There was no
Hughton,
question in that first
no, the question is following. When I'm done with this preamble, you will know the question. Secondly, after we all came from Cote d'Ivoire, right, and this we sacked Chris Hughton, he didn't even have the opportunity to present his technical report. He was not even given the chance to be heard on his stance. But with Otoado, who didn't even get us to the AFCON to begin with, there's just this whole leeway. So the question is one, Henry, would you admit to your own hypocrisy or your own biases? That is when you were a journalist and the role you occupy right now. And would you also admit to the hypocrisy within the association you serve by not even giving Chris Hughton that chance, by not even seeing the technical report before we appointed another coach and then going ahead to fire him? But with Otto, there's this lackadaisical and let's give him time thing. Fine, that's the question.
you want to
Bye
know
bye.
why Henry has a different position now. I think he answered that question earlier on the show. Um, when he spoke about the fact that his position now does not allow him to be able to express certain views. But you also want to know why we didn't give the other coaches any chance at all after the AFCON, and we are giving Otto Addo all the latitude. Bright Junior, what's your question?
Yes, friends, good afternoon, and good afternoon to Mr. Henry Asantichu. I want to find out the ESCO members, who among them is a technical person, as in a coach who has been a coach before. I'm asking this because if ESCO members are to review a report by a coach, these ESCO members, I understand, are either club owners or club administrators.
Bright,
So,
I will just stop you
yes,
there. I think your question is clear. Why is there no technical team member a part of the X
yeah,
when the coach is
yes, because
report to the yes?
good, because I want to know
Back
how would
yes,
they
yes. It's
effectively
clear.
review
We
the
want to
report.
move this along very quickly. I understand your question is clear, please. Why is there
All
no
right.
technical? Daniel asked that question on the show earlier too, so it's not
I joined
a new question. Um,
I joined
okay. Kwesi, I'll take a third question, and then I'm noting all the questions down. So, Kwesi, please, what's your question? Kwesi Manifest, are you there? Okay, Osikani, please, what's your question?
All right, thank you, friends. Good afternoon to you all. Well, my question is kind of connected to what Bright was asking. So, if the management committee has been dissolved before the coaches or technical team's report is going to be dissected, then I think we are going to have lapses on that. And my main question is, if Otto Addo is to still remain at post, if Otto Addo is going to continue as the head coach for the last team, does Henry think that is it always that we have to sit down for things to go bad before you be like, it is the decision of the coach, so I have nothing to say about it, especially with Thomas Partey or on the captaincy issue? If the management committee and the coach could not solve it behind.
Hi, thank you.
Osikani, are you there? All right. As Ganesh know, the vice question is clear. So here we have three questions. You can be snappy with the responses. The first one was from Safo. He says you hold a different position from what you held when you were a journalist. Why is that?
Of course, I am entitled to my opinion. I mentioned on the show that I am very, very critical, and I stand by every single thing that I said on radio, which is why I don't take bones with or pick issues with people who express their views in situations like this. It is not about hypocrisy. I am not the one to tell the council to resign and block or individuals to resign. No. In my opinion, years ago, after our failure in Brazil, on the back of what happened, on the back of that debacle, I held an opi- I held a view that the the council at the time or the committee at the time needed to step aside on the back of that shameful act in Brazil. I was in Brazil myself, in 2014. Today we haven't qualified for the AFCON. I have mentioned that whatever it is, whichever way you look at it, my opinion does not influence the decision on the individuals of the council, and that has nothing to do with hypocrisy. If it is that the things I said yesterday, I am unable to defend them today, then you can talk about hypocrisy. But I stand by it. Those are my views. My views does not reflect in the day-to-day running of the association. There is a leader of the association who takes responsibility. The association run by his vision, by his principles. I am only there to support with my technical expertise, which is my field of or my area of expertise, and that's all. Whichever way you look at it, first of all, when it comes to decision making at the FA, I am not part. You know, so most often when I hear these comments from people, I laugh. You can only judge me when I am the one at the helm and I am the one running the FA with my vision. In the absence of that, I don't see where I go wrong in this scenario.
The other two
The-
questions were why is there no technical? I think this is also a question you answered on game plan. But for the benefit of those who didn't listen, they are saying that why is there no technical person in the ESCO that is reviewing a technical report from the coach? Which of those people fully understands the technical aspects of what the coach is presenting? That's the question.
Iwan Laporta is the president of Real Madrid, but he's not a coach. He appoints coaches at Real Madrid. He takes decision to hire and fire at Real Madrid, but he's not a coach. But that's even on a lighter side. What I said on game plan is that in meeting the head coach of a national team to peruse his report, you do not necessarily have to bring in the technical director of the FA in person or physically to come and take part in the discussion. You can do your consultation behind the scenes. A situation. There are different scenarios when you set a precedent and it doesn't work or it backfires. It puts you in a very bad, and a very uncomfortable situation. So imagine Professor Minta comes to sit at a meeting and he's questioning the head coach of the Black Stars. Meanwhile, he doesn't work under him. He doesn't report to him. But the structure of the technical uh, program or organogram of the national teams, he is responsible for development. And he's responsible for U15, U14, U19, U17 up to the under 20 level, under 23, and then the senior national team do not fall under the supervision of the technical director. So you can consult him in a private, conversation or engagement without necessarily bringing him to the meeting, and you can still get the results you are looking for.
The question though is did that happen in these last two ESCO meetings?
He wasn't present, but I want to also indicate that the kind of consultation that has gone on within the last couple of weeks goes beyond having him in an ESCO meeting. Consultations at different levels, technical levels, speaking to coaches, speaking to ex-captains, national team players privately. And it may not reflect in an executive council meeting. Of course, he wasn't part of the decision making when the coach was appointed. So that is it. I just want to explain that national teams, national team A, head coaches of national team A do not work under the supervision of the technical director. You can consult him for his view privately. You can decide to bring him into a meeting physically or speak to him privately and still get the same result. He was not present in those meetings, but it does not mean that when the need arises, you will not consult him for his view, especially when he is the one leading the DNA, execution for the federation.
You said on game plan that Otto was owed a few months worth of salaries. I want to ask you, what is being his reaction to all of it? Like, how is he taking it? Not just him, you said also members of the technical team. How are they getting by? Are there agitations? Are they calm? What's been the reaction to this whole situation of not being paid for such extended periods of time?
The last time I spoke to them on this particular subject, they were not happy. Of course, the assistants will run to the head coach to find out what is going on, because in most of the meetings is the head coach that represents the backroom staff. So what I know is that yes, there have been overtures, there have been calls to the ministry to know when exactly this issue will be put to bed. As we speak, there hasn't been any immediate solution, even though the minister has assured the FA that the arrears will be cleared. Yes, when you are working and you are not being paid, it's not a comfortable situation, but nothing goes beyond results. They were very much focused on the output of the team, and that would even help you in your bargaining power when you are chasing your remuneration and your bonuses and your working and other things attached to your working conditions in terms of the monies associated with what you do. It's not a very comfortable situation, but they just have to deal with it.
My last question to you, Henry. You've been very kind with us with your time today. You've been here for a very long time. So I promise this is the last question, then we'll let you go, obviously. Now, let's look ahead, moving forward. You've been in football a long time. You've seen crisis upon crisis. This is a massive crisis by your own admission, by everybody's admission, obviously. Now, having been inside this FA for the past 5 years and seeing what has happened, as Daniel indicated on game plan, there's been so many moments of failure, back-to-back AFCON group stage exits, so many, not making to the AFCON being the height of it all. From everything that you see that has happened and every engagement that you've had with the people who are charged to run football in this country, from where you sit, Henry, do you have confidence in you that this group of this FA that you are a part of have it in them? They have the capacity to dig us out of the hole we currently find ourselves, from your heart of hearts.
Let me start by saying that we all have to be patient. It is not the situation we find ourselves is not the ideal situation that we would have ordinarily wished for. Let me admit that results have not been good. Yes, we were part of the 32 nations, the best 32 nations in the world to play at the World Cup. It wasn't the first time and being at the World Cup, even though we had failed to qualify in 2018. We made it to the World Cup in 2022. It wasn't the first time that we also exited at the group stage, just as it happened in Brazil in 2014. On the back of those challenges, we have loads of issues. And sometimes when I sit in executive council meetings and hear some of the challenges that confront us, it's not about the people who are there today, but it's about a national thing. Is an industry thing. Provision of pitches, or lack of pitches, or infrastructure deficit is not something that started today, and it's not something that's going to end today. In terms of structure for juvenile football, many years ago it's been there. It's still there, even though efforts are being made to improve it. Luckily, we found KGL Foundation to support us in the juvenile leagues at the district level, at the regional level, and then also at the national level, which is positive. We are making inroads in women's football through continuous investment. It will take time. Our junior national teams are not doing well. I must admit that we won the under 20 in 2021, failed to qualify for 2023, and then luckily we've been able to qualify for the next edition after finishing second in Togo. I don't know what will happen in that tournament, but there is that commitment to ensure that we make it to the World Cup because we haven't been to the World Cup for a long time.
People say that one of the reasons our youth teams aren't doing well is because this current FA executives make it their life mission to staff the national teams with only players that are affiliated to clubs that they run or they and their cohorts run. This is not. I'm not sure this is the first time you're hearing this.
It is very, very unfortunate that in the end, players who find themselves in national teams are always at the receiving end because they are either affiliated to Executive Council Member A or Executive Council Member B. We've had a scenario where in the past I was working for Tema Youth. I worked for Tema Youth for 12 years of my life, and during my latter days at Tema Youth, we had 5 of our players in the Black Satellites. We had 4. Yes, we have 4 of our players in the Black Starlets. Kofi Mensah, who is the goalkeeper of Nations FC today, I scouted him when he was at senior high school, at Potting Senior High. So when I become the FA president tomorrow and Kofi Mensah is doing well and he's in the national team, Kofi Mensah will always suffer, also suffer because of his affiliation.
I understand. That is when he's doing well. But the examples that people cite are examples where the players aren't necessarily doing well. And I'll give you the biggest example of that, Philemon Bafo. He was not the best right back in the national team. He was not the best right back in Ghana. But we called him up, I think, at least 6 times when CK was
so let me explain this Philemon Bafo thing. After a competition in 2021, there was a decision to deliberately, and I'm using deliberately because that was a decision. There was a decision to deliberately promote some of the players to the Black Stars. Now, during the analysis, Philemon, Danlad, Barnier were the 3 players. Philemon wasn't there because he is a player of Dreams FC or he has an affiliation with the FA president. He was there because after all the analysis, he was one of the 3 players who were selected from that squad. And once it was a deliberate attempt to put them in the team, it had nothing to do with where they play, who they are affiliated to, or their skill set. But it was deliberate to promote 3 players into the team, which is why Danlad, for a very long time, was always in the team. I think that time he was on loan at King Faisal, which is why Barnier, for a very long time, was in the team. He left the scene for some time, then he got the chance to play at the World Cup. So Philemon was unfortunate because when it got to the crunch and the coach didn't have an option. I remember when we were going to South Africa, and the Addo couldn't go because that time there was an embargo on England-based players to travel to certain countries, and South Africa was one of them. So Andy couldn't go, and then CK drafted in Fatau Mohammed, the former captain of Hazelhoek. And then when the team arrived in South Africa, CK decided to use Fatau instead of Philemon, who had been with the team, who had been with the team for who was a backup to Andy. The reason he gave was that he needed experience at that crucial moment, and he thought Fatau would do a good job at that point, which is why he put him in the team. But his inclusion, from what I know and my understanding, wasn't because he was playing for Dreams FC, but because he was one of the best performing players at the Under-20 Africa Cup of Nations, and there was a decision to deliberately promote 3 of them into the team.
He just happened to be one of them.
That isn't a justification that we are pushing players on the coaches.
No, it's not a decision that was taken without the involvement of the coach. It was a decision that was taken with the express involvement of the coach.
They were telling them one time that Barnier was not called up. They were telling them one time that Danlad was not called up.
Yes.
Case closed.
That was jumping in. Sambolu. Anyway, Henry, let's bring this to an end. I think you've done enough. Thank you very much for stopping by. You came around 1:30. You've been here 3.5 hours. Yeah, just like that, and we didn't give him anything. But thank you. I hope that a lot of the suggestions that were made, you will take them back to the FA, and when they ask your opinion, you will share them and share them appropriately, because we feel like the FA that you are a part of, they are doing and have done a really bad job at managing our national team, especially the Black Stars and our youth national teams. I don't. This FA has not gotten a lot of things right. Women's football,
Hi, Fent.
yes.
Sorry for the rude interruption. I had something for Henry before he leaves. And
Okay.
it's centered around the captaincy issue, right?
Yes.
I heard you ask him, so going forward, who is the permanent captain of the Black Stars? And he said he's communicating what Otto said at the press conference the last time, which is Jordan Ayew is the captain, but he falls short of answering whether when Partey returns to the team he takes back his captaincy. Henry, remember you are dealing with adults. Even if the Black Star players are not listening, their friends, their families should be listening. Every communication is intended to achieve a certain result, right? So you have to be categorical. Let the coach be very categorical about this. Who is the captain of the Black Stars? This is what goes into fostering animosity in camp. And we all sit on radio and say, hey, why are these players divided on this front or that front?
Am I the?
Come clear
Are you
on
saying?
this
Are you
decision.
saying I should be the one to name the captain of the team?
I'm not saying you should be the one,
Yes,
but the
now
coach should let all of us know.
From what the coach said, Jordan is the captain, Jiku is the first vice, Kudus is the second vice. I
But my
cannot
question is, when Partey comes back,
say
who is the
something.
captain?
I cannot say something that is contrary to the position of the coach. Until the coach reviews his thoughts or his decision, I have to reiterate the point he made.
But Henry, my question is, when Partey comes back, who becomes the captain? If we don't solve this
So I
right
think
and now,
Justin, that question has been answered. So he's basically, so Henry says even the coach hasn't answered that question to him about what
so
happens when
they should
Partey
let the
comes back.
coach answer. Thank you. My point
So that,
is,
I
if the
get you.
coach
So
doesn't
next time
answer,
so
we are
next
not going
time,
to have a resolution to this
yes, I agree
fashions in
with you.
camp,
I agree
right?
with you. I agree with
Let
you.
the
So
coach
when
answer.
the chance comes for us to get to the coach, we should. And for Henry himself, like you said, that's a question he cannot answer at the moment. He needs to find the answer, because this is not the first time that question will be asked. So your point is well noted, Justin. He himself needs to find the answer. At the moment, Henry doesn't have the answer because the coach hasn't given him one. But it's his job to find the answer, because the question will keep being asked. So
Yes,
your
sir.
point is very valid. It's very valid.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
friend. Thanks for the rude interruption again. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And like I said, thank you to the rest of you too for joining us. Henry has been kind enough to be with us for 3.5 hours. That's a long time to be at one place. So I have to let him go. We don't owe him anything. Our per DMs and our money is missing by not qualifying to the AFCON, because now multimedia will not sponsor anybody there. So problem.